Mac Voices listeners and viewers. Treat yourself to a brand new website with the help of Squarespace, a drag and drop do-it-yourself site builder with everything you need to create exceptional websites. Go to squarespace.com/MacVoices to start a free trial. Use the offer code MacVoices1 when you decide to purchase, and you'll receive a 10% discount. That's squarespace.com/MacVoices, offer code MacVoices and the number 1. Thanks to Squarespace for sponsoring this edition of Mac Voices. Hi, I'm Chuck Joyner, and this is Mac Voices at New Media Expo in Las Vegas. I'm in the Sucuri booth talking to Dre, one of the co-founders of Sucuri. Dre, it's great to have you on the show.
Pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
So tell me what Sucuri is and what it does for those of us who publish on the web.
Great question. So we do malware detection, alerting, and remediation. So remediation meaning cleanup. We do that for websites. So we're essentially an antivirus for websites.
Are you a pre-install or post-infection kind of thing?
Well, we do both, right? So we get customers that come infected, of course, and we do clean it up. All of our service plans include cleanup for the year, so it's an insurance policy, if you will. But we do get folks that just come in and want the monitoring to be, a little bit more proactive in their security stance, so they have that alerting mechanism available to them. If something happens, they can take immediate action on it.
Now, typically, this kind of thing is rather geeky at worst, very technical at best. Sure. Do you simplify it, or are you just a service that says, hey, trust us, we'll take care of it for you?
Well, and that's the idea behind it, right? So we're not enterprise focused. Historically, you've got a lot of security tools and things like that are very enterprise heavy. You need the resources or the technical acumen to actually kind of pull through these things. And that idea is to hit the consumer in a way that it's understandable, right? Getting that black box or that weird feeling around security out of the way. Giving them the opportunity to implement and be more strategic about their security stance, beginning to end with websites. There's an inherent security risk with having a website. It's not the day of old, the geeky guy in the corner with the monster, the Mountain Dew, trying to build a website. Everybody's a webmaster today. With that brings, issues around standard practices and things that where there isn't the level of awareness with security that there needs to be. So the idea is to provide that context, that feeling of, hey, maybe I'm empowered to do this as well, so they can start making those decisions earlier on when they launch a website. So we try to get away from too much of the geeky stuff, although inherently we're going to have some things that need to happen. So for example, when we come in to clean a website, we're going to need things like FTP and credentials to come into your server to clean that up. We put a human behind every cleanup, so there is that interaction throughout the entire process. Doesn't make sense to completely automate everything because it is a vulnerable position folks are in when they're coming into these issues, and we want to be able to ensure that we're providing that level of service with human interaction throughout the process.
It's a scary thing, no matter who you are, when your website gets hacked or you find out that there's something there that shouldn't be, sure. And then you wonder what's going on that you don't know about yet.
Sure. So one of the things we get asked, more often than not, is, hey, why would they target me? I sell cupcakes. Like, why am I all of a sudden serving ads for Viagra? That's not the type of cupcakes that I'm selling. Well, it's typically an opportunistic attack that we see. Probably 80% of the infections that we see, and we clean 300 to 500 websites a day today, are due to simple vulnerabilities because of outdated software or poor password management. So it's not really something that happens because they want to kill your cupcake site, but it's more automated for revenue capabilities. So you take the latest redirect malware that you see, redirecting you to these pharmaceutical companies. Well, it's a big affiliate scheme. So they get a lot of money for redirecting folks there, and they get somewhere between 1,000 to 2,000 signups a day just by maliciously redirecting folks. So it's all a money play. It's an opportunistic attack. They look for these known vulnerabilities. They attack you. It's nothing personal.
Oh, yeah. No, it's not. Well, very seldom is it anything personal, but you're right. It's so automated that half the time I don't think that the people that are doing it really know which sites they've infected. It's just they found one that's vulnerable.
Absolutely. They'll have a range. They'll have a criteria that they're looking for, let's say through Google or even through IP ranges. And if they find and scan and it has this vulnerability, it'll auto-inject this malicious code into their site. It'll have some type of command and control so they can reinfect. And so even if you clean the stuff out and you don't update your site or close that actual hole, they just reinfect, and it's just a vicious circle. It's continued. And then you get blacklisted. You get fun folks from Google giving you a big red banner saying, hey, don't come here. There goes your brand. There goes your reputation. So it's very important to be thinking of these things prior to, instead of waiting till the last minute and you get that red banner up in your face.
What platforms do you support?
Look, great question. So a lot of folks think that we're just WordPress based. We're not. We do stem from the WordPress world, and we really do love the platform, but we're platform independent. So we'll clean anything up from a static HTML site to a .asp site.
Great. And what kind of prices are we talking about? And I realize that can be all over the board, but can you give me a rough idea of what it takes both from a cleanup and a preventative maintenance kind of thing?
So we have set plans, and we run on a yearly subscription. And what that does for a single website, you come in and we would monitor it. We would alert you to any issues throughout the year if monitoring finds something, and clean up without any hidden fees or page limits for $89.99 a year. So the idea is really to hit the consumer, right? From there, it scales depending on how many websites you need. So let's say, for example, you need 5 websites covered, it'd be $189, and then it scales from there, bundles of 5 for $100 until you reach the 100 website range.
Listen, that's pretty affordable. It may sound like a lot to someone who hasn't gone through the process, but once they have.
Yeah, and that's the idea. Try to look at it prior to this happening, and that's a small investment. Where in turn, at the end of the day, if you do get hit and you're blacklisted, you could lose a lot of money, a lot of face. So it is something to really think about from beginning to end.
Dre, where do we send the folks to let them find out more?
Send them to sucuri.net, sucuri.net, or you can email us at info@sucuri.net. If you want to hit us on Twitter, Sucuri_security.
Twitter_security, or Sucuri_security.
Actually, you've got the domain right behind it.
Okay, great. Dre, thanks so much for the time. Appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. Cheers.
Folks, more from New Media Expo in Las Vegas. I'm Chuck Joyner, and this is Mac Voices. Thanks for watching. The Mac Voices briefing is part of the Mac Voices Group at MacVoicesGroup.com. Advertising handled by Backbeat Media at BackbeatMedia.com.